Okay. Okay. So I'm recording as well. Amazing. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to give you an intro. How do I pronounce your surname, Amir?
Jahangiri.
Jahangiri. Dr. Amir Jahangiri. Okay, cool. Beloved souls, welcome to a new episode of the Human Potential Podcast. I am delighted to be joined by my very esteemed guest, Dr. Amir Jahangiri. Dr. Amir, welcome to the podcast.
My wonderful friend Haider. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I want to extend my warmest greetings to the wonderful listeners and audience of this esteemed podcast. I hope that our conversation would be enjoyable and beneficial. Thank you very much.
I love that. So, look, Amra, can you please tell us a bit about who you are, what you're most passionate about, and why should our audience lean in and stay with us for the next hour?
Thank you so much. I love your questioning and how you approach so directly. That is wonderful. And so honoring the time, valuable time of our audience. I'm Amir Jahangiri. I was born in Iran in 1982, amongst the longest war of the 20th century. Iran is the birthplace of many profound modalities of spirituality. Zoroastrianism. It has links to the Buddhist and Hindu tradition, but also all of the Abrahamic religions. So I grew up with the deep spirituality that still remains within the people of that region of the world. I read all of the spiritual and religious texts of the world in the search for truth. Um, so, spirituality and more specifically healing, practical, applied, and efficient healing modalities. This is my passion. And on the other side, I pursued an academic life. I went into electrical engineering, computer science. I've got 7 degrees, a doctorate in brain-computer interfaces, and a postdoc in artificial intelligence. So right now I teach computer science, and at the same time I've got a holistic healing practice. So my main passions in life is these would be healing and teaching. These never change. And so day and night, no matter what it takes, I'm interested in these things. With the scientific approach applied to spirituality, something amazing emerges. If there's a act of miracle that cannot be reproduced or replicated, it is useless. And if there is a technique that can be done over and over, independent of who is doing the experiment and performing the task, and it continues to yield reliable results, that is something that I really, really love. So, out of all different modalities, many of them, numerous ones, I kept the methods and techniques that actually work. They work all the time. They work every time, and combine those into my own understanding of holistic and energetic healing. I call this the Dragon Reiki. And so I've had hundreds of successful healing sessions with wonderful people from across the world, and I would like to be able to pass this on. So this is one of the things that I do teach alongside with healing, and I call the healing work an energetic car wash. You come in one side and you leave the other with a mirror polish. That doesn't mean you're going to stay clean if you go driving in the mud doing donuts, but yeah, it's very effective immediately after the session. It's effective. It gives people a glimpse of their true self when they are released from the burden of so many distortions and overlays of all sorts. So that glimpse, that momentary glimpse of the glorious self is enough to set them on their journey. They know what they have felt and experienced, and nobody can take that away from them. This is a powerful motivator.
Sure, sure. And thank you for giving such a detailed response. There's a, I always say this to all my guests when they give me a beautiful response like that, it awakens many questions within me. There's so many threads that I can go down, so many roads that lead to the next question. And I want to wind it back right to the very beginning where you when you were born in Iran and you said in your words there was a search for the truth.
Yes.
What form did that take? And also, there's an element to this searching and seeking that I've been exploring with for the last 2 or 3 years, right? When I listen to great Eastern and Western spiritual teachers, they say we are often on this search for truth and we're often seeking. And actually, whatever you're seeking or whatever you're searching for, the truth, it's already within you. You are that truth. So I want to know, firstly, yeah, where did your endeavors take you in the search for the truth? And where are you with the concept of searching and seeking right now?
Okay, so truth is not a simple zero or one. It's not a simple this is truth and this is deception. And as you gain elevation and greater understanding, the lines become even more blurry. It's not so easy to say something is good or something is evil anymore. Once you start understanding with compassion, all those lines and borders fade away. This search for truth begins with naivete and innocence and wanting the best for the self and for everyone. It's usually quite simple at younger ages when we are indoctrinated into many different types of religion depending on the lottery of birth. And so within every single modality and belief system, there are elements of truth. This cannot be denied. And so often what happens is these ideologies are abused towards the accumulation of wealth and power. They're distorted and then they becomes a means to power. That kind of hypocrisy is incredibly damaging, resulting in people completely abandoning faith. Now, my journey is an interesting one, starting from the Persian culture, going through everything written and available, and then coming back, finding my way to the philosophy of Rumi. That, oh my goodness, this wonderful person was really onto something. I finally got what he was saying. That we are a drop from the mighty ocean, and yet we are the mighty ocean in one drop. For years, my heart searched for the fountain of youth, and yet it turns out that fountain was within all along. So these are common beliefs, and they are way, way more profound than it appears at the beginning. My search took me everywhere, and I was a little bit psycho with it. I went all in both Abrahamic religions, but also modalities of spirituality and magic. And these are very ancient practices that have survived to the current time, and they work. It's a real thing, very, very effective. There are laws of the universe that apply, and understanding these laws allow you, again, by following the scientific method, to achieve very real outcomes, including healing. But now the search for truth, considering this is something internal, it should be measured by what it does to the internal. And yet we are still working with the illusion that there is such a thing as the inside and the outside. That's a whole nother rabbit hole that I want to go down again in the near future with you. The effects of truth are joy, bliss, grace, and infinite compassion. It's coming from a place of understanding, it's coming from a place of sympathy, of empathy, of forgiveness, of love for the self and everyone and everything. The result of truth is satisfaction. And so, at different ages of our existence in a human form, many different things may be truth and will give us that satisfaction and internal peace. And so, we must remain seekers of it. As we evolve, well, let me correct my words. As we move towards greater purity and embodying the true self, which is that spark from the fire of the divine. Um, with removal of obstacles, our understanding elevates, and so truth also evolves.
Wow. So eloquent, so powerful, so deeply in resonance to how I view and see the world. Which kind of leads me to the question of just exploring more about you, the man that I see before me. And you kind of answered this kind of in your way, in your very eloquent ways. How was your childhood, right? What shapes Dr. Amir, the man I see before me? What do I need to about know about your childhood that's
Um,
important for the listeners?
it's kind of interesting. Something that is one of the most profound realizations for everyone is understanding that the infinite soul fulfills its mission no matter what. It really doesn't matter what's happening in the monkey brain and the emotional body. The soul is doing its thing all along. And so the fundamental energy of my soul is joy. I suffer from excessive happiness all day, every day, no matter what's going down. I'm happy, happy, happy. This was my childhood. And so, although I was absorbing the heavy energy of a country after a monumental revolution, change of system, and then, of course, casualties of war coming in. Even as I was a fetus, my mother was working in main hospital until the very day. So, an Irish lady working in Iran. This is an oddity to begin with. But then they brought in soldiers injured by chemical weapons. And then the head of the hospital said, okay, you got to get the hell out of here. You're pregnant. It's going to kill the baby, which was me. And so the energy of joy still continues. I must be honest, for certain years, for a number of years, my flame was weak. And I did experience deep depression as I was going through the dark night of the soul, observing the hypocrisy of systematic and organized religion, what they do to the world. This hasn't stopped from the inception of these modalities. So it's a journey of joy, heartbreak, and then the journey really begins. Let's put this broken mind and broken heart back together again. And towards that, I really didn't hold back. I had no preconception. I went all the way dark and I went all the way light, experienced everything to its extremity, and then found my way comfortably in the middle at a neutral point with access to all polarities. And so the methods that I found to be effective, I kept. It turns out that what was useful and beneficial for me works equally well for others. We are all the same. So, mending a broken heart, removing energetic cords and implants, not just from this life, from past incarnations, this is a big thing. Also, we're not living in a pristine world. There's so much energetic pollution. And I don't mean magnetic, electromagnetic waves. I mean sentient beings that burrow into the consciousness and cause all sorts of problems, from very low level manufactured artificial intelligence that are non physical to significantly more evolved, powerful, and complex beings, elemental beings that entangle with humanity, to a whole variety of non human, non local consciousness that interacts with humanity frequently. Many of the things people experience are these beings, and so they exist in the unseen. And so, how to maintain our true light, hold our own vibration and frequency, not only be unaffected, but have the ability to bring another beloved soul into balance so that they may see what's what, even if it's for a short time. That's pretty much my journey.
Thank you for explaining that. And before we go deeper into healing, and I'm fascinated to hear about the elemental beings and non-physical presences and energies and beings of light and love that can help us transcend the fear paradigm. I just want to hear a bit more about so your answer alluded to the fact that you had joy, a lot of joy, right? I can't remember the exact word you used.
And
You said it was full of joy,
yes,
and then also
excessive happiness. Yes.
it's excessive happiness, and yet you also suffered because when you said that, I was like, okay, so Amir suffered no healing, suffered no trauma, or he didn't suffer any programming, any self-sabotage, any limiting beliefs. And then you mentioned that you did have a dark night of the soul. You did have depression. What did the dark night of the soul look like for you? How did that manifest in your humanness?
Uh, well, the way I would express it, it's very common. There are certain things that injure the heart: loss, betrayal, heartbreak, our loving nature being misconstrued for weakness and being abused. And so these have an energetic effect on the non-physical part of the human vessel. And it stays unless you deal with it. So many, you have a bad breakup 25 lifetimes ago, you don't deal with it, although you've gone through many vessels, many bodies, the energy is still there. And so the greatest betrayal, the one that put me into my first dark night of the soul, was observing the hypocrisy of autocratic systems. Very much so what the globe experienced during the Crusades. This is very much alive even today. That it's not about seeking the divine. It is not about righteousness. It is all an instrument towards wealth, power, and influence. This was it was crushing. As I grew up a devout Shia Muslim, and once I saw what was really going on, I just lost the will to continue. It manifested in deep, dark depression. It took me many years to figure it out, and I went down a rabbit hole of darkness. And I really mean that. I became a left-hand path practitioner, a black magician, thinking to myself that, well, if these guys are not true, probably the opposition is true in my naivety.
Wow.
And so my saving grace was I never caused harm. I was in this for the knowledge. The same way I was in the right hand path of, let's say, spirituality and Abrahamic religions for the knowledge. I learned much, including the mechanisms of the energetic structure of elemental and non physical beings. The second dark night of the soul. Yes,
Sorry,
please.
before you talk about that, can we just clarify the terminology between left hand and right hand? Well, what do you actually mean by that?
So at this point, my definition is non orthodox. The beloved source of all sources creates everything. Each universe has a number of fundamental laws. This universe seems to work on polarity or duality, light and dark, masculine and feminine, positive and negative. And so now my understanding of this is that both poles are created by the beloved source. They are equal and they are both divine. Just because something is born in the dark does not make it evil. And just because something is born in the light doesn't automatically make it good. We cannot cast judgment upon an entire species because of what their name is. It is very much so an individual journey, just like it is for humanity. We are a part of life, and so what applies to us naturally would apply to all other types of species and civilizations. So work with the polarity of dark dimensions and densities, more dense than physical reality. This is traditionally called the left hand path. And work with the dimensions, domains, and beings of the lighter vibrations than physicality, This would be referred to as the right-hand path. Now, when a master of each polarity, when they sit together and speak, they agree upon probably 95% of the techniques. They both use the same laws of the same divine universe. At the end of the day, the definition, the thing that makes the difference in definition is a philosophical difference, and that is in the application of violence. The left-hand path has its own set of protocols, and the right-hand path has its own set of protocols. Neither are good, neither are bad. So, self-defense, protecting your life and the life of those you love. This is a left-hand path axiom. Makes perfect sense. Nobody has the right to deprive you of your life and your soul's mission, your soul's journey. This could be used now on both sides. And so again, we might see things on the right-hand path which lead to massacre, genocide. Looking at the other polarity saying they're all evil. Let's kill them all and be done with it. You see, so good and evil can rise from either side. Essentially, they are the same fundamental rules of the universe, and mastery varies from individual to individual. It is like a hammer. Do you use it to build a house or do you use it to smash somebody's head in? It's not the good or evil of the hammer. It's in the good or evil of the being that wields it.
Yeah, understood. And thank you for giving that explanation. I want to move on, unless you want to tell us the second Dark Night of the Soul.
Oh, second Dark Night of the Soul was that the left-hand path is equally skewed. They're both skewed. They're both kind of polluted. So I knew that I was wrong once again. The joke was on me. And so that started my journey towards balance. And
Hmm.
what really did it for me is a modality called the Kuji Kiri, which removes overlays. This time I wasn't going to look outside. I was searching inside. All the distortions that I contained, these were removed through a meditative process. And I found myself comfortably in the neutral point where neither pole of light or dark had any influence on me anymore. And then I discovered that, oh boy, going down the rabbit hole, that's the rite of passage for every shaman. I had a moment of revelation, seeing myself in, it seems, an infinite number of previous bodies banging on the drums, just pictures coming through in different continents among every tribe of man, as I had performed the rites of shamanic initiation over and over and over and over and over, and every lifetime. This is the way that it is. A shaman is born, they go through hell. They are on the receiving end of every single pain that they are going to be able to heal. And that is the price you pay. And so here I am. Again, the excessive happiness has emerged, but also compassion. I do not care what the person is or the being is, what they've done, where they come from. Every being deserves compassion, and every being is encouraged to evolve and grow.
I love that. Can I ask you what Kuji Kiri is?
It's a very ancient modality. It's practiced among the Buddhists, the Hindu, the Chinese, and the Japanese. So it seems to be an Asian thing. At least that's what survived the last ice age. But going back into the Akashic records and truly observing it, it seems it's a gift by non-local beings, meaning that they are beyond a single universe, observing the probability of humanity evolving to a certain stage where they can use it. It focuses on liberating the human vessel. The body is absolutely critical in any meaningful evolution and liberation and understanding. You require a healthy and pure body. Otherwise, the consciousness cannot manifest adequately.
So
The impurity,
what does a healthy and pure body look like, feel like? What does that actually mean?
a great sense of ease, the absence of tension, stress, and negative thought patterns and heavy emotions. The ability to switch the monkey brain off for 10 minutes or 10 days, where you can achieve a meditative state effortlessly, where you sleep comfortably and remember your dreams constantly.
So, so,
Where, yes,
sorry, Amir, to cut you off. And I'm going to interject here because this is a fascinating conversation. So,
please.
as you say something, I'll have follow-up questions. So, so you're saying that's the state we get to after experiencing this healing, right? Kuji Kiri. Or that's
Precisely.
the consciousness you have to come to with this healing.
The consciousness is here.
Yeah,
We just need to uncover it. X marks the spot. The Kuji Kiri is your shovel, and off you go shoveling, digging.
sure.
And so there's so many levels of distortion and overlay that the human body has. So first of all, they're energetic injuries from past incarnations. That's the soul shard coming in. As soon as the sperm and egg mix and the first cell of the body are created, then the holographic reality, the matrix, goes to work. By the time we are born, 90% of the implants are in place. And then we are born into a family that has its own culture and belief system. We have religion, we have school, we have economics. We have so many other layers that just mess us up completely. And so these need to be removed, to be purified. And so the system focuses on the nine most important energetic centers inside the vessel. For example, the root chakra is associated with, let's say, survival, food, shelter, and reproduction. We share this with animals. And so, what this foundation of energy, the foundation of our temple, which is us, we focus on a mantra saying that I see all there is truthfully. So the system doesn't give away energy to anyone or anything. I see all there is truthfully. Oh, wow. And then how many times do you say it? Oh, yes, 11,000 times. Every time with intent. I see all there is truthfully. I see Om Vajra Manataya Swaha. Om Vajra Manataya Swaha. And guess what? Anything that stands in your way, coming from the conscious, subconscious, unconscious, and energetic levels of the being, that prevents you from seeing all there is truthfully, that is washed away. That is profound.
That is profound. And
And that's key number one. We're still in the animal kingdom. And we
yeah,
start with that. Many people talk about healing the inner child. Nobody talks about healing the inner animal. These wonderful bodies, hundreds of millions of years of evolution and engineering have gone into these beautiful vessels. They are a bonanza of wisdom. And yet many people are distorted to such a degree, they don't know who and what they are. They cannot survive in the wild. They're pretty useless. I'd rather have a Labrador retriever. So, next state of evolution, we're still in the animal kingdom. It is healing. It is the lower dantian, the tanden used in martial arts and healing work manifestation. I use all there is available to me correctly. Look at ants building shelter. Look at animals migrating, using things correctly. Many humans don't have this. They are below
mm,
animal.
mm.
Then
This is
comes turning into human. Oh, I can go on all day. This is so
yeah,
beautiful. And what turns us different from animals is art. Creating beauty, music, poetry, sculpture, poetry and literature, painting, sculpture, music, dance, all this stuff that is beautiful. Animals don't have that.
podcasts.
Yes, there we go. And so it goes up. So joining Animal Kingdom, reclaiming our membership of humanity, evolving beyond humanity, evolving beyond all sentient form, evolving beyond a single universe, and then rejoining the beloved source. At the end, that key is called the key of Zen. You become a
Mm,
Zen master. And
mm,
you know why Zen masters are so freaking chill? Because there's nothing going on up here. It's empty.
mm.
No bothering, nothing bothering them.
Empty mind, yeah.
Empty mind.
Yeah. You know what, Amrajan? I'm calling you Amrajan. Amrajan means my love, my heart. It's a form of affection and endearment. I'm often not flabbergasted by my guest. Because I've been on this healing journey and I've been on this journey of consciousness, and I'm going to pay you the highest compliment. This is a profound conversation, which I'm finding so fascinating that someone is holding the codes of divine wisdom in such embodiment, and I
And
get to speak to that person. It's truly a blessing and a gift.
and the only thing that's going on in my mind is a song on loop with hillbilly guitar banjo, ding 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 ding, and a high-pitched voice song which says there's no such thing as too much cheesecake, and it's on a loop. And
There's
so
no such thing as too much
it,
cheesecake.
no such thing.
Yeah.
Now, there's method to the madness. Anybody trying to remote view my mind, because oh, by the way, there are no secrets. Everything is visible. There's such a thing as the Akashic records, which oh yes, by the way, is a public library. You just need to break out of the distortion a little bit and you have access. We all have membership. So somebody coming into my mind is going to say, what? Of course, there is such a thing as too much cheesecake, and they kind of get nervous and they leave. So it's kind of like a defense mechanism. So much that can be said about energetic defense and spiritual hygiene. But yes, I appreciate your compliment, and I would like to compliment you. Without wonderful beings of light like yourself, the truth will not be proliferated. Humankind is now in a slavery of the mind. There are no more chains. So those who, well, let me give you a proper praise. You are a master alchemist, a grand master of Enochian magic, and you are the embodiment of, I think it is the 13th axiom, which is destruction through enlightenment. In the light of truth, falsehood cannot exist.
Mm.
And so I salute you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Let me let that percolate in my body. That's so beautiful. Listen, I've got a podcast to get through here. This frequency you're sending my way is like, oh, okay. Whew.
Okay, now this, oh my God, yes, now see that which you just felt,
Yeah,
that is the true you.
yeah,
That is baseline, man.
yeah,
Anything that pulls us away from this, that is the distortion and that is untruth. So that sense of joy, uh, that you come to agreement with me that in fact there is no such thing as too much cheesecake. That is the ideal. That is where we all need to go. And so cheesecake again is a metaphor for that divine, yum yum, gorgeous energy. And so we're opening up blockages and allowing more of that to flow through.
beautiful. So look, talking about the flow, you
Yes,
mentioned several times universal laws, right?
yes,
And I know you are a doctor in academia, and there's something I wrote down very early on that you said, actually, this is a quote that I've written down, and I've taken it from your answer of or your words. Miracles are scientific. So let's talk about universal laws, and let's talk about how miracles are scientific.
absolutely. So creation has hierarchy. Once a soul evolves beyond a certain level, all there is left to do is to manifest and create beauty, which is life or facilitating life, ultimately creating vessels that can embody a shard from the beloved source of all things. The journey of humanity is such a journey. Life does not just pop out of nowhere. No, no, no. There are beings involved with the guidance, direction. It's very much so a scientific process of iterations. Humanity goes through cyclical events of extinction every 10 to 12,000 years on cue. Since the beginning of the journey that is humanity and the guaranteed unnatural evolution of the mighty human, we've been through around 30,000 resets. The introduction of parasitic species such as the Anunnaki, reptilians, greys, all sorts of critters. I call them the frickin' pirates. This is just the last 20 iterations of the experiment that is the mighty human. Now, before any of this happens, a suitable world must be implanted with sentience that could guide evolution. Calculation and numerical approaches are insufficient for that. We need a spark of the divine to fill in the gaps. Usually, a single guardian crystal implanted in a planet is enough for life. Earth has thousands of these. And so, Earth is a very, very special place. But before that, we need a suitable sun and solar system. A level above, we need a suitable galaxy and a suitable universe. So, there are many, many, many levels of laws that come into play. And if one of the beings along the journey messes it up, life will not emerge. There are many universes where this is true. So we talked about the law of polarity in this universe. There are many. The law of mentalism. Everything is
Can I
conscious.
ask you what would you say, and for the benefit of my our audience, our listeners, what is the most important law, or what are the top three important laws that people need to know?
Well, the most important laws are the ones censored from our literature. Many of us have probably heard about the hermetic laws of the universe, Hermes or Thoth or Ahura Mazda. They're all the same being. They're not seven.
I haven't, Amir John. I've not heard of those
Oh,
laws. Well,
oh
I've
my
heard
God.
of the law of hermetics, yes, and I don't know. I can't say to you. I could explain to you what that is, or what it means, or what it
Okay,
represents.
okay. So, first of all, who is Hermes? Who is Thoth? Who is Ahura Mazda? This is
Oh, Thoth. Thoth is the ancient Egyptian. I've heard of
There we go.
Thoth. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
there
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
the same. It's the
yeah.
same being. It seems that after every extinction event, this being is responsible for reseeding sacred knowledge, so humanity grows fast enough for the experiment to go on. The experiment is exposing humanity to conditions of severity, different diseases, different natural disasters. And then once the body was perfected 250,000 years ago, we're going to energetic perfection, immunity from psychological, psychic, and energetic warfare. So Thoth is a sentience. It is a constructed sentience, but yet it has a divine spark. And so it seems that it has come back early on after the migration of um, the Aryan people from Siberia down into the Iranian plateau. Some moved to India, some stayed in Iran, and then some moved into Europe, becoming the Germans and the Irish. The linguistic links, the Indo-European languages, they're still there. So through linguistics, you can trace this back. So it came in the form of Ahura Mazda, again around the same time to the Greek civilization in the form of Hermes. The laws that are brought in, I would strongly, strongly recommend that our wonderful audience read the Hermetica. And so there are seven laws in the Hermetica, and three of the most important laws have been censored. So cause and effect, yes, action and reaction, polarity, vibration, mentalism, everything is conscious, everything is in the mind. These are, again, older iterations of this existed in the pre-flood civilizations, the Atlantean culture, who built the pyramids, by the way, before their periodic extinction event. Now, the most important laws, the one that would really benefit everyone, first and foremost, the law of liberty. The law says that if you reach to the light, it will reach back. That is the law. Now, isn't that beautiful? Of course, it will be censored. If there's a priesthood who's making money off the masses, that, oh, no, 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 you have to come through me. Oh, by the way, please fill the donation jar. And yes, if you buy a very expensive plot of land and we mummify your body a correct way, you're going to paradise. That's the Egyptians. Believe me now, even right now in the Islamic world, there are grave plots that are more expensive than a flat in Manhattan. Same doo-doo, different priesthood.
Yeah, yeah.
The
So,
law
so
of
look,
liberty,
can I jump in here with a question?
please.
Because this law is beautiful, it's fascinating, it's something that So, like you, I have an analytical mind, right? You are in academia. You like to read, you like to question. My background is very similar to you. I was brought up as a devout Shia as well, and I went into investment banking where I was an analyst, a business analyst. So when I'm presented with information and data, and not to kind of downplay our transmission, I'm constantly evaluating your answers and the data that you are presenting to me. And it's a lot more than data, the beautiful frequency that you're presenting to me. So when you say to me there's a law that says if you reach for the light will reach for you, what does that actually mean? What does that look like? What do I have to do in my human form to actualize that law to benefit my life? Does that make sense?
Wonderful. Of course, the
Yeah.
practicalities, the application of the law. Without the
Exactly that, my
application,
friend. The
yes,
application of the law.
yes. So knowledge without utility is a burden. So thank you for going into the application, the practicality of it. There are many, many beings that are invested in the success of our incarnation as a human. Some of them are aspects of the same infinite soul in the form of ancestors, guardian angels, elevated ascended masters, guardians, protectors, warriors, you name it. And they are forbidden from interference due to the law of free will. Free will is universal, is at least in this universe, it cannot be violated. Violation of free will incur severe repercussions. Now, the law of liberty says you reach to the light. So we know there is a divine. Every culture feels this within every string of their energy, every cell in their body. What you require is to call to the beloved divine. Hey, beloved divine, whatever name you want to call it by, I'm in trouble. Please help. Now the army of energetic beings, now they have the license to intervene. And so you open up the floodgates for yourself. If it is a question of knowledge, beloved divine, this problem is bugging me. Please facilitate my understanding and remembering of the truth. It's going to happen. It's the law. And so it's something that if you try, you're going to see the results and it's going to blow your mind. Or you're in a difficult position. Uh, Beloved divine, I'm suffering from this, and this. Please send relief. I do not know. The monkey brain can't take it. I know you can. I leave it to you, beloved divine. I reach out. The divine is going to reach back. That is the law of liberty. It's universal. And so, of course, the corrupt priesthood would not want you to bypass them. I mean, they're making their money out of this. And
And it's just,
then
it's not just money, right? It's the currency of power and control, like you
you
said.
got it.
Yeah.
It gets significantly darker. It's not just money, you're spot on.
Yeah.
It's the harvesting of the life force of humanity. When you really go into the nitty-gritty, the system is treating the mighty human as a goddamn hamburger, as a resource, as a battery. And then the next law that I would put on the list would be the law of choice. This is the law that facilitates liberation from the universal matrix. You might have heard this expression, the only way to defeat evil is to deny its battle. Because if you're going into a dumpster and wrestling with pigs, oh, you better believe you're going to get muddy. And that's exactly how evil works. They entangle with you.
Mm.
And although you maintain interior and internal righteousness and cleanliness, it does affect you. And so the denial of evil, that is the law of choice. Many of us may face cyclical karmic events in our life designed to teach us a lesson. Well, the very sign of mastery of that lesson is that you no longer entangle into those karmic situations. And they weaken out, and eventually they just do not present themselves to you. This is all very carefully simulated. The whole infrastructure behind creating a universal matrix is mind-blowing. So the beings that actually do this, they should be praised for who and what they are and what they do. They are clients of the prime creator of this universe.
So again, the same question, the application of this law of choice, how does that work?
It comes with insight and wisdom. You see down the line. You don't have to go all the way down a blocked street to find out it is a cul-de-sac, that it is a blockage. You just sense it and avoid going down that route. If it's relationships, early on, you notice red flags. There's no
Mm,
need to go through the motions with this person.
mm,
You respectfully disengage. You don't get entangled.
mm.
It's the same with many other weaknesses. It comes with comprehension and awareness. And so the greatest awareness is that these bodies, all this that seems material and solid, these are all illusory. Space, time, and solidity are only limitations of the physical domain. One only needs to go into a meditative state and be liberated of the whole thing. You can go past lives, future lives, parallel timelines, different dimensions, and different universes. And that's, by the way, going beyond limitation of time, that's 5D. There's so much talk about 5D, 5D. I'm saying, oh my God, these people really don't know what they're talking about. It's liberation through time and it's achieved through shamanic practice.
Beautiful. Now that you've mentioned 5D, and again, I've heard this term so many times, and there's so many different variations, and in the embodiment of consciousness where we don't make anything wrong and everything exists, what's your conceptual understanding of 5D?
Okay, 5D. Let's go to our scientific method and the beloved field of physics. We've got three dimensions of space and two dimensions of time. So time going back and forward, but also left and right, past and future, but also possible timelines to both sides. And the distinction between these parallel realities come with choice points. There are certain choices that have minimal effect, like if you choose to put an object a little bit left or right on your desk. And then there are choice points that have monumental effect, where you completely shift into another branch of probable realities, and it really, really changes everything. This also happens back in time, so it's really a two-dimensional plane where certain healings, for example, removing of family curses, that's inflicting the bloodline through hundreds of years. These are done out of time. They are fourth, fifth, and higher dimensional energetic workings. Once they are broken everywhere. So you heal the ancestors, you see the ripple effects coming into the body of the current client, and then all those yet unborn will never suffer such
Mm,
inflictions.
mm.
And so you see there's a correction wave from, let's say, 800 years in the past coming all the way to the future. And it's very common. This is seen or known as the Mandela effect, where in the physical brain, you've got a different neural network storing a memory. But what actually transpired, now you've shifted into a parallel reality. The past isn't quite the same.
Yeah, amazing. And I guess, this is a very beautiful segue into healing, right? Because we've talked about healing quite a bit in this podcast. Let's talk about it more specifically because what you've just explained to me is a form of healing, an ancestral healing of of generational trauma, if you will. Talk
Uh-huh.
talk to me a bit more about healing, the modalities of healing that you engage in. And actually, well, let's start off with this. What does healing mean to you? What are we healing?
So, healing occurs by the genius of the self. Now, something may keep us away from balance and prevent this mechanism of healing that is inbuilt to function, but there's no question that whether it's a pill, a surgery, um, some sort of, let's say, pressure, a needle, a touch, or energy in my case, is all pushing towards unblocking and allowing the body to fix
Mm.
itself. The healing always happens by the person. So essentially, what I do is facilitate healing. It's the genius of the body and the energetic structure with infinite wisdom and capability for regeneration and renewal. Now, if one is in a unhealthy, let's say, eating pattern, ingesting too much of a certain substance, that may push the body off balance. Now, it's not just that physical act of eating, there's something deeper lying underneath, some sort of trauma or emotional block or belief system that's pushing them towards that.
Are you reading my energy right now?
I do not do that without permission.
Oh, okay. Because I'm struggling with eating right now. Yeah.
This is something that can be easily brought to balance. And so here we go with the modality that I use. So a lot has been said about the tree of life, especially in modalities like the Kabbalah, the Jewish branch of mysticism. Very beautiful and unnecessarily complicated. The tree of life is the mighty human. We've got energy centers inside the vessel. By the way, the body does not contain the soul contains the body.
Yes.
And so there is a tube of light, that would be the trunk of the tree. And then above the crown chakra, there's a soul bridge connecting us to the soul star. And then there are branches that connect you to every single shard of your infinite soul. Underneath the feet, about a foot underneath, there's the earth bridge going down into the earth star chakra and a monumental network of roots that fill the entire planet and plug you into the planet's nervous system or the natural energetic grids. Two flows of energy are necessary for optimal healing. These give us the oomph, the horsepower to bring online soul technologies that facilitate that act of renewal, rebalancing, and regeneration. Now, anything in the way that impedes the flow of light from the soul and healing energy from the earth, that needs to go. And so I look at this as a energy car wash. Now,
Mm.
depending on who the soul is and where they come from, not all of us are born in this universe. Many of us are migrants coming here for specialized missions. So a lot of people come and I see, oh, yes, you've got an injury from universe plus three. They brought it all the way with them. They couldn't find a way to heal it back there. And so here we deal with it. Many people come to Earth, although Earth is a dumpster fire. It's crazy. But in this craziness, there's the opportunity of the greatest evolution, the greatest wisdom, and the greatest healing. So, yes, the mighty human brings in flow of light from their infinite soul and the beloved divine. But our bodies are the gift of Mother Earth. And so her consciousness, very much so, has a say in our physical well being. The feet, the root chakra, the earth bridge, the earth star, and roots must be healthy. Otherwise, you're cut off. Now, the effect of Earth being healthy and us having connection back in the day, and now I'm talking about two iterations ago, time of Atlantis, maybe before of that Lemuria, maybe the beginnings of the old Egypt. By the time a human would hit puberty, they would upload all their soul memory from the earth. And so, those who are doing grid work and healing the earth energy and the earth's nervous system, they're facilitating the possibility of humans being born with more light, more of their gifts.
Mm.
So, the indigo children that are coming in,
Yeah.
this wouldn't be possible without a healthy planet.
Yeah. My sister's on that mission actually. She's downloading her mission through connection to the divine, and it's very clearly telling her to restore the waterways of Africa. Um, so
Mind blowing. Yeah.
yes. So I'm very much, she's using my help to kind of help her assist with that. And I know my passion is this podcast, right? Is to have
Yeah.
conversations like this to elevate the human consciousness of our planet. And I'll be honest with you, Amir, is that I've not had a conversation like this for about 2 or 3 years, right? Whereas because I've been in this grief pattern for the last couple of years that's actually blocked the access through my mind. I've blocked the access to
Understood.
to Gaia, the energy of the planet, and also the connection to higher dimensions.
Okay,
So
so please allow me to offer you an energy car wash on the house. I think you'll like what I do.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that, brother.
Awesome.
And then maybe we can do another podcast after my energy car wash, and I can speak about my experience because in this realm of spirituality, and we're talking about deep kind of So I like to the university of spirituality, right? We're talking about
Wonderful.
third year stuff here, right? This is
Absolutely.
and my listeners are they're undergraduates, they're first year, their second year, third year, they're postdoctorate, right? So
Yeah.
I have a whole range of people, and
Mhm.
I just want to assure my listeners that the conversation and the concepts that Amrijan is talking about are quite advanced concepts. So if you're feeling a bit like, oh, this is going over my head, just stick with us. It will all become clear. You're listening for a reason. You're ready to receive this information because you're here and you're listening. So I just want to reassure my listeners who are at the very start of their journey. So where will we? Oh, yeah, energetic car wash. Yeah, having another podcast after I have that session with you. That would be amazing.
I deeply and wholeheartedly welcome this. It's not every lifetime that one has the honor of reaching their true self. And I'm honored to be able to remember this. And there are only so many people I can work with one to one. This is something that should be taught in schools if everything was in the right place. So let's do this evidence-based work. We
Sure,
talked a lot of stuff, and it may
sure,
seem profound, but if it doesn't work, it's worth nothing. And so one of the ways an individual realizes it is through somatic and physiological responses,
exactly.
like tears start shedding, or suddenly a portion of the memory opens and you completely remember. This is something that is undeniable. And then comes the after effects, especially many spiritual gifts related to the upper chakra system in the head, the jade gate, third eye, crown, and soul star. Once these are cleared, the person says, "Oh my God, I can travel out of body. Oh my goodness, I can see the past of another person." That's the Akashic records. "Oh, by the way, I can now do telekinesis. I can do this and do that." These are all there already. And so once the path is open, once that river of light is flowing through, the proof is in the pudding. Yes, please, my wonderful friend, let's do this.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that very generous offer, the offering of that gift to me. I gratefully and wholeheartedly receive that. And I just want to carry on the conversation, my bro, because there's a couple of more questions that I want to ask you. Uh, and I want to bring it back to the intellectual, right? Because I know you got a postdoctorate in AI, and AI is revolutionizing revolutionizing our world. It's a topic of big discussion. There's a lot of fear around it. Tell us your kind of perspective on AI and how do we integrate AI to live a more spiritual life?
AI is like a mechanical loader. You can lift many tons with a mechanical loader, and there's still a little thin human boy or girl sitting behind the controls, hydraulically assisted controls, and operating the device. So it's a tool that will enable us to do a lot of the heavy lifting, save time, find patterns that are too boring and tedious for the human to recognize. And so, in this sense, it's going to bring about the third industrial revolution. First one was the printing press. The second one was the internet. And now is the advent of AI, which is going to bring about the next evolution in humanity too. Not just in the way that our society works, but in the way we use our bodies. Of course, we haven't all evolved out of our base nature and shortcomings. So the very first thing technology is used for is war. We want to
Warfare, yeah.
find we want to find novel ways to kill each other. Like the invention of the atom bomb, now it's comfortably powering our cities, and it's the cleanest way. Maybe people would not agree, but it's considerably cleaner than fossil fuels. The same is true as we speak with AI, where it's been weaponized. And so the only places that have sufficient funding to pay for the research and development of AI are the militaries of the world. Now, slowly but surely, these are trickling down. I happen to know that this process is now ongoing. As completed projects that are now obsolete by the military, the entire package is handed down to a university and they say, okay, have fun with it. which is also not good because then the first ones that get their hands on it next would be corporations, and all they want to do is sell junk to people
Yeah.
and make more money.
Yeah.
However, eventually, this is going to facilitate great benefits for the mass of humanity. So that fear is absolutely justified, and we're living it right now. This period of time is the worst of the worst. We've never had so much poverty. We've never had so much inequality. We've never had this many number of human slaves alive globally. Never we had so much addiction, so much darkness and evil. So we're really living in the end of the dark ages, where it's the darkest. What we have ahead is 3 centuries of transition before the next golden age, the Satya Yuga. Now, as it turns out, the experiment that is the mighty human is also rolling out. We're done, we're cooked, we're perfect. And I'm not talking about these bodies that are put together in a clumsy, expedited way. The result of the whole 350 million year experiment are inheritance from energetic elemental beings that makes the energetic structure of the body, the wisdom of the dinosaurs in our reptilian brain, our immune system, our adaptability. This is all now perfected. The result of all this, with all the codes put together, is the peak of evolution and engineering in the entire infinite cosmos. So those that conducted the experiment have exceeded the requirements of the clients, which are prime creators of their own universe. Now they're getting ready to move on to another universe where life doesn't exist, to start this entire perfection of life, what I call guaranteed unnatural evolution. So we're going to be left to our own devices. This is a wonderful thing. That means no more periodic extinction events. Look at what we've done in 2000 years. Now imagine this goes on uninterrupted for 100,000 years, 1 million years. Humanity is going to take its rightful place amongst the stars as teachers, as healers, as prophets, as leaders, showing younger species the wisdom that we have acquired through the hardship of Earth, not knowing who and what we are, and yet the heart sought the fountain of youth for years and years, and it discovered that it had it inside all along. We're going to
Hmm.
be teaching that to many other young life forms.
Wow, where do I go with that answer? It's like, okay, so look, let me just kind of reword what you've just said, and I'm sure that a question will come out. So there have been guardians, right, of our planet, of our solar system, who have undertaken an experiment which is called the human, right?
Yes,
And as part of that experiment, they have perfected the human body through its advancement, right? Like you said.
yes.
Firstly, who are they, right? Because I've always thought they is the divine, or they as freak beings of the highest frequency that just operate from a place of love. Am I correct in that assumption?
Um, well, let's change our point of view, meaning the place upon you stand to observe. These beings are naturally evolved themselves. They graduated a single universe. They were so advanced that they survived the death of their own universe. This is 23 universes ago. The process of birth and death is like breathing for a universe. As one goes out, the other is born.
Sure.
And so there's a continuation through great advancement, through natural and unnatural evolution. They learned how to survive the death of a universe. And so these beings are pretty advanced. Now, they
They're
were
non-physical though, right?
they are usually ninth dimensional, but they can exist up to the 12D, and if they choose, they can condense down into physical level also, although they
Sure.
usually don't do that.
Right.
The shape is resembling praying mantis. Very slender limbs. That's the way they at least interact with humanity. That's the way they choose to show themselves. They are brilliant geneticists, engineers. And what they do is data mining of life. And so they've got access to mechanisms of projection of reality upon the consciousness of the human mind. If you don't believe, go into nature and leave all your devices at home, take your shoes and socks off, and just wait. The effect of this matrix, a holographic matrix, is going to fade, and suddenly you start hearing the birds sing. That's when the matrix fades out. You go, oh my God, these birds were here all along. I was just so jumbled up in my head I didn't
Mm.
hear them.
Yeah.
Or the sound of the wind going through the leaves. And they project this reality upon the human mind because, well, there's so much to talk about. Originally, humans lived freely in small tribes, and for any sort of modification, they had to do a capture and test program.
You
And
know, you
we,
know what, Amir John, let me interject here, right? Because I think this would make a whole podcast episode in itself.
yes, yes,
Because
yes, yes.
I've not heard this version. I don't want to call it a version because I don't want to denigrate or demean it anyway. I've not heard this explanation, this truth before. So I'm really, I don't want to be constricted by time. I'd like to go deeper
Okay,
into
sure, sure,
into
sure. Uh,
into your knowledge and your wisdom to just extrapolate as much information as I can. And I want to honor that by giving it the energy and the focus that this conversation deserves. Does that make sense?
Perfect. Yes, 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 please and thank you.
So amazing. So look, let's finish off with this question. Is there a topic that we haven't discussed, not including the one that we just talked about, that you think my audience would benefit from? Or is there a question I could have asked you that, that you think provides the listeners with great insights?
So I could sum things up with a few bullet points that there is no wisdom missing. There are no rites of passage incomplete. There is no need for a book or a guru. All you need is with you. And yet you are at the beginning of a journey of awakening and cleansing, coming out of the chrysalis to become the mighty you. Do not be afraid of pain. Invite it. Do not be afraid of darkness. Embrace it and integrate it. It is through compassion and comprehension and consciousness that you become the mighty self. That do not expect this journey to be easy. You get out of it what you put into it. Nobody will save you. Nobody will carry you. Sometimes you may find the right direction, and once you do, don't let it go.
Listen, there's nothing for me to add. That is a beautiful closing statement, sentiment, projection of divine knowledge. Amrijan, thank you so much for this
It's my honor.
conversation.
To be continued. I'm having
T
a wonderful time. You've got
T
amazing
T
energy. Let's sort out
TBC,
it.
definitely. And man, what an honor to sit down and speak with you today. God
It's
bless you,
my
my
honor.
friend.
Thank you. Thank you. To be continued. Have a wonderful day to our wonderful, esteemed audience. I love you. Please keep being awesome and never stop. Never stop learning. Never stop being happy. Thank you.
Amazing.